What are you talking about? They're all watching.
No, I don't think so.
Oh,
That was bad.
Was that bad?
That was really bad.
I think we should start the show.
Yeah, I think we should start the show now.
Okay, let's start the show. Ready?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Should we give it a 3 count?
All right. 3, 2, 1.
Bet you weren't expecting that. What's up, everyone, and welcome to the show.
Hello.
What's
up?
Oh, gotta go easy. We don't know how well this Andy is going to sound. For those of you that don't know, this is Andy.
That's Andy.
This is Audio Frog Andy. This is his microphone. And
That's
for a small portion of the show, we're going to be using this to just to see how it sounds. More of an after effect, just to see what it sounds like. This isn't what it was intended purpose, like doing shows like this was, but we thought it'd be fun. And so we've put together a little conversation that we'd like to have. That way the two of us can kind of bicker back and forth for a minute before we get on with the show. But if you guys have questions while we're doing it, please get them in the queue. And once we get on with the regular show, Fernando, Andy, we'll do that. But all right, interesting thing happened today.
Yes. What happened?
We're working on this F-150. Yo, what's up? And it's a 911.
Correct.
And it's an interesting 911. And I say that in the video that you guys will get to see because we are recording that. In that it's not our normal 911. And why that is because there's techniques that they used in this. Like they were really close. Like they used Tessa tape and they tried to do things properly.
Right. Well, they tried. Like you mentioned, they tried. They have the right tools because it looks like they have the right tools and everything.
Well, kind of, but
yeah.
And so you posted a picture.
Yes, 2 pictures
of the speakers in the door and how they just did the worst job ever on the sound treatment. And our good friend, which I won't name, but you can go find on the post. Good friend of the show, good friend personally, nice guy, great guy. I sound like a president. Anyways, he had commented, dude, if that's one of our dealers, let me know.
Yep.
And that brought up an interesting point. And in all your years of doing this, and I know I got you beat 3-1. Have you ever heard of a dealer that has been canceled because they do crappy work?
No.
Now, if you advertise on the internet, you're not supposed to all the time.
I feel that when they cancel you or doing something because you're not doing the numbers that you're supposed to do, I don't know.
I don't either.
In the end of the day, I feel when somebody's gonna call me and say, "Hey, man, I think you're doing a bad work," it's like, "Here you go. I mean, that's my shop. Okay, you don't tell me what to do in my shop." I don't know.
Okay, Ada.
I'm just saying, it's like, that's my shop. This is how I do things. And by the way, that was not me anyway. So it's hard. It's hard to have. The other comment that we have from that picture was, why always the people.
Oh no, that gets us to another. Let's not go down that road yet.
Okay.
So here's my take on it. If let's say we told him who the dealer was, say, hey man, this is a dealer that did this install. Okay?
For example, we know who it is.
And I said, hey, here it is. What is he gonna do? Is he gonna come up and say, God, you guys suck?
I don't know, man. I mean, I feel it depends what relationship you have with this dealer. Well, if you have a good relationship, if we do a bad thing, for example, anything, we cut a wire, we do anything. And one of our reps find out.
They don't care.
Find out that we did something like that.
They're not going to care.
I feel because of the relationship that we have, they're going to say, hey, man, I find out that you guys did this.
Puff, pass?
No.
I mean.
I don't know, man.
Here's the only thing that I've ever seen happen.
Okay.
Is that if a dealer has reached out to a manufacturer saying, hey, look, we just don't understand, then they've tried to get somebody in there to help them do a better job. Like we were talking with
Okay,
Sage
but we talking
and
about. Hang on.
They've sent Sage off to teach guys how to do some fab work. We've done some stuff with Mobile Solutions where they've sent people out to there.
Listen, I don't know how to fab. I don't know how to do fabrication. If you tell me, hey, listen, this is what you need to do, I would do it. But a piece of sound treatment that you can tell me that is like right there. Grab your roller, put it on. It's not that hard.
Well, no, and there again, sound treatment was just what this was. A lot of guys like that. But I'm speaking in general.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, we've seen tons of failures all across the board. Yeah. Somebody use a P35 from Amp. You know, they use a
SNI, whatever, yeah.
SNI 35, high level to low level adapter. And it's like, dude, that is the fact that Amp even still sells those is shameful on their part. But someone that is using those or some other cheap high level to low level adapter in a modern car, it's like you were dropped on your head.
Okay, but now whose fault is that? Is the dealer or is the manufacturer not doing the proper...
that goes down many avenues that I don't want to go down. But my point is it's just one of those funny things where I just look at like what happened in this, and it's not like we haven't seen it before. I feel like we've all seen it. Mm-hmm. And when a manufacturer makes a comment like that, like, oh, let me know who that dealer is. What are you gonna do? Really, what my thought was is, what are you gonna do?
But that's what I'm saying. What kind of relationship you have with this dealer? Because
clearly none.
If you have a good relationship, it's like, hey, man, what are you doing?
Yeah, but you don't right. But you don't have a relationship. That's my point. There is no relationship there. Because the only relationships, hey, man, I'm out of this, send it to me. That's it. Listen, people don't want to have relationships with other people. Okay, that's
what I see about this.
Reps want to call you up and say, what do you want?
But customers are going to say, oh, you know, oh, wow.
Wow.
Let's just wait because, you know, somebody forgot to turn the phone off, you know.
It's speaking of Mobile Solutions, it's Brian Schmidt calling me during the show. Oops, sorry.
I hurt?
Yeah.
Anyway, I feel when you have a manufacturer or rep, right, that has a good relationship with you, they making money. If you make money, they make money.
Yeah.
If they do a bad job,
yeah.
Yes, exactly. Hey, man, what are you doing? If they do a bad job, customers automatically think that the product sucks.
Well, yeah.
It's like, hey, man, this is peeling off. And it's like, no, it's not peeling off.
Yeah.
It's just not installed proper. They didn't install it properly.
No.
So
yeah. Oh no, I get it. I'm just saying.
And that's the reason why the dealer or the manufacturer or
I just look at it as, you know, come at me, bro. And I don't know. I mean, I don't think anything would happen. Listen, people are not. Some people are confrontational. I get it, but the reality is, buy my stuff, please.
Do you remember one day you did something that is like necessary for the install, and one of the manufacturers called you and says like, "Oh man, you're not supposed to do that because it's like, we designed this specific product for that." So, and you're like, "Yeah, but this is like it's wrong."
Yeah,
I'm going to put it in a different place and I need to do this.
Yes.
What about if you think and make that connection that allow me to do it anywhere? And, that was one of those things that they pay attention and they're like, yeah,
they didn't change it though.
But they didn't because they can. But I feel that people pay attention.
The compressor, hopefully the compressor is
I
off.
Turn it off.
Yeah, there you go. Either way, it's just one of those things that I don't think there's an answer that makes sense. You deal with the wrong ones, Ada. I think that's the answer we're going to have to end with from Doug to Ada is that you're just dealing with the wrong
people.
And anyways, that was just one of those thoughts. The other thing I want to end it on, this little conversation we're having using Andy here, is that if you're watching a blind man lead you down a path and you knowingly follow him, wherever he bumps you into, that's on you, bro. That's on you. Take that as you will. It's solid information. It's a solid point, but there's a lot of people that follow people that have no idea what it is they're doing or talking about. and they take it as Bible and verse. And who's the fool? The fool or the fool that follows? Deep thought. Anyways, we got a great show for you tonight.
Thank you so much for everything, guys. That's it.
We got a great show for you tonight. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. First thing, as always, hopefully you guys enjoyed the little Andy head here. I'm gonna wrap him up. Put on the regular microphone. I just thought that'd be fun to see how he sounds.
Thank you so much.
Beginning.
Thank you, Andy.
Thank you, Andy.
Bye, guys. Bye.
Hi, Andy. Get out of here. We do this little Facebook page called the 12 Volt Clean Wire Club, and every Sunday night, Fernando scours it to find what is the coolest wiring job, or just one that he likes. I don't even really know the criteria.
I don't even know, man.
On Sunday, I am not worried about it. So here we go. One. It's pretty cool. And there's what we got. So what do we have today, Fernando?
We have an Ambrac.
I got that.
Somebody, Isaac.
Oh, this is Isaac?
That's Isaac Wood over there, the speaker box guys.
Oh, very nice.
He did it, so very nice.
You know, I like how they're like, you can see the bridge here and the bridge here.
Mm-hmm.
The funny in off show, I said the one thing I find is funny is obviously it's sponsored by Tsunami and T-Spec.
Yep.
And you put the Tsunami logo, but he's actually using a T-Spec distribution block.
Okay.
And that's okay.
My defense.
In your defense.
My defense.
I'm not calling you out on it.
Oh, no.
I'm just I thought it was funny.
I'm going to use like, I don't care. It's hard to find somebody using Tsunami right now.
Because it's brand new.
And
we got a box of it sitting up here that we need to review. So
even if you're interested in Tsunami power wire, distribution blocks, find out who is your local dealer that is Tsunami.
Anyways,
find who is closest to you. They can provide you with Tsunami or T-Spec, and there you go. That's it.
I think it was Andy.
That was Andy? I thought that was the guys that they... What are you talking about me, man?
All right, well, why don't you go ahead and dig through the comments there, and we'll start going. And we'll Tsunami was the business back when I first started installing. Yeah. It's still there. They just actually relaunched the line this year in 2023. So, hey, it wouldn't be a show without some technical difficulty. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
This is the first Monday back?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's the first Monday back since vacation. So we have some work we have to do with this camera. It decided it wanted to be stupid on us. So
yeah.
And we keep forgetting about it until we go live on the show. So whatever.
It happens.
That was
Christian's fault.
It was Christian's fault. Let's blame Christian. Right. Everything's Christian's fault, guys.
Everything. What's happening right now
is all
in
Christian's
the country
fault.
Is Christian's
Read
fault.
the comments, will you? Come on, let's get some comments up so we can answer some questions.
We don't have comments. We just have people like chiming in.
All right, we'll start dropping some stuff in there. Let me
there you go. Hey, that's your first one. Love the show, guys.
I have an FX Pioneer head unit set. How can I add reverse cam without replacing the receiver, or is it time for an upgrade? Actually, it's funny you should ask this. Depending on your rear view mirror, there are manufacturers that Amp Global, pack.com has Echo Master. And Echo Master makes a ton of mirrors that go up. Some attach to your mirror, some replace the mirror, but they have backup cameras that can attach to the mirrors. Now, if you like the GM style, like full mirror, like full reverse mirror thing, they have those. And then, of course, they have the smaller ones that have that. Now, the argument for replacing it with a better radio is also not a bad one, because by the time you buy the mirror, you're really close to couple $100 more, you might be able to get into a new radio with, let's say, CarPlay, wireless CarPlay, better sound, 4-volt or 5 volts of output, and multicam. So not just front cam. I'm sorry, not just back cam. You can do front cam, you can do dash cam, you can do left cam, right cam. So there's a lot of options available to you. So if you want to keep the radio cool, get a mirror. If you don't want to, do whatever works for you.
Ready?
Yeah.
All right.
Curious if using a mid-range only for rear, I'm guessing rear fill is still a thing. Seemed popular in the 90s. I don't know if it's popular per se. I feel a lot of people get it and they don't know they're getting it, is I think the way to say it. So for example, if we're doing a DSP and we're doing a coaxial in the rear, a lot of the times that coaxial is bandpassed so that the tweeter really doesn't do much, especially if it's up high, like on a rear deck or something like that, where that tweeter can horn load off of the rear window. I don't want that to be distracting. So I might throw a bandpass, like a 10,000 hertz bandpass, so 80 to 10,000 on there, just to like reel that sucker back in. But I don't think anyone sets out to do that like they may have in the past.
Okay.
The other thing too in the 90s, you have to remember is that you could buy a lot of raw speakers back then. Like the packaged component set was just starting to be a thing in the 90s. Previous to that, if you wanted a component set, you'd buy a tweeter, you'd buy a mid-range, you may build a crossover, you may go active. There was a lot of active, but there was only a handful after, the 90s is when that started to happen. Like JBL started to put their package stuff together, and Boston and all these other, brands where you could get the tweeter, mid-range, and passive crossover all together. So,
okay.
But you could easily go buy a nice mid-bass back then, or mid-range. Not that you can't now, but it's now you're getting loudspeakers, and they're all just fun. Good evening, gents. Any thoughts on the Alpine PXE-C8088? Does it build in load resistance on speaker level inputs? I'm gonna go no. I don't know of any of the Alpine products that do that. Most products don't. There's a handful. Like this was a question that came up on Instagram today. Do a lot of DSPs have load resistance built into them, and they don't. They actually don't. There's very few that do. There's a couple that do. Helix is really the flag waver in that regard, but most of them do not have load resistance built into them. Kicker makes the key load for that specific person, and even the key lock doesn't have a load resistance built into it because you can put a key load in front of it. So, and they, for a couple different reasons. And when you look at like a Helix, it's not using the same load bank as, let's say, an audio control, like an LC1 or LC2. Like if you take those apart, those are full-size sandstone load resistors in there. The Helix is not like that. They're doing it through different technology. So Forza does have some, yes, but it's there again. It's not all across the board,
right?
Yeah. And it doesn't work in every scenario, and none of them do. Apparently, that's at least that's what they told me. Hey, speaking of cool products,
yeah,
we've talked about a few just now. We're going to talk about one more, Mosconi 430 Pro. Fernando's been rocking it since we put it in his car months ago, and he won't let us take it out. He loves it very much. It is coming out. Sorry, just don't mean to be mean. But hey, if you're looking for some amazing products, just like your cream of the crop, going to go crazy, you can check out Mosconi Pro line. This one right here. This is the 830 with the DSP built into it, hanging on the wall right there. Can't wait to review that. There's also the 610 sitting right there.
Yeah.
Definitely head over to Mosconi-America.com. Check out some of the cool products that they have to make your car sound amazing. Now, if you get an opportunity,
look at that guy.
Wow, Demo Dan. Man, I haven't seen him in a while. What's up, Mr. Murphy?
What's up, man?
If you do get a chance, make sure to head over to the Gladen page and check out the Aerospace speakers. Ooh, very juicy. Very, very juicy. And there we go. Yo, what's up, Mr. Marty? Oh, keep shaking his head.
It's not coming out.
It's totally coming out.
I'm trying to find where is like somebody won.
Somebody what? Yeah.
I wanna hear.
What?
Yeah. Okay. Hang
on. Okay. I'm hanging. I'm not doing anything.
I know.
It's just. Bought a 2008 Accord Sport. Stereo sounds horrible. Any suggestions? Tear it all out. We've got a ton of videos on the Honda Accord, full Honda Accord builds, like from start to scratch. We've got little ones, we've got big ones, we've got them all. Whether you have the premium audio system or the base audio system is really what kind of sets you on your path. If it's a base model audio system, it's easy enough. It's a 4-channel output, meaning front and rear times 2, that you can just go off into any DSP you like. You will need load resistors, like we've been talking about. If you don't know what those are, okay. But it's an easy enough one to do. If you have the premium audio system, you're going to need some form of DSP that has at least 6 channels of input. 2 of those channels need to be discrete, meaning they need to be separate, because you need to retain the front mid-range, the front tweeter, the center, and the sub to go off to your new products.
Carrie, we don't have nothing to do with the phone, so we don't have a phone in here that we can answer.
The install bay is actually 2 buildings down from the retail store. Yeah. And I can tell you right now, I do not know what happened in the retail store today because I was never over there. Believe it or not, it's conceivable that I can walk in my door in the install bay and leave my door in the install bay to go home and never actually set foot into the retail store to know what has gone down in that store. It's not mine.
But I'm going to remind him about your comment tomorrow.
There you go.
So,
but yeah, we don't ever get over there.
All right.
Which is amazing. When you guys have done DSP installs, have you ever extended the USB from the DSP to an empty knockout? No, not to an empty knockout. I'm not putting it in a knockout because I really don't need the customer to have access to it, nor do most of them want access to it. Mm-hmm. Now, in a situation like the Explorer we did last week, where the amplifiers went up behind the panel, the USB was installed in the car, and it was put in a place that if we need to get to it, we do not need to pull the whole car apart in order to gain access to the DSP. Mm-hmm. Now, if a customer comes in by request and says, hey, I want to be able to play with my DSP, I'm going to say, sure. However, keep in mind that you're going to need a, because most of those flush mount DSPs are female and most of the DSP ends are male. Okay. So if I were to convert it so that it's now you need a male to male USB. That's not really a thing.
Now, keep in mind when you add in some form of extension.
Yeah, they don't necessarily
like that, so you have to keep that in mind.
Yeah, we found that out the other day when we were. He has like 2 extensions already in his car, and I added a third, not realizing that he was using 2 already. We stayed late one night and was tuning his car. Mm-hmm. I'm like, dude, why does this work? And he's like, because that's like 20 feet of extension now.
It's like
and I was like,
feet now.
I was like, oh,
yeah,
probably not a good idea. My 12 sound punchy. How do I get deep bass? So I always confused punchy as boomy and deep. If you want deep bass, if like deep bass is the thing you're after, the next sponsor is probably the company that you're interested in. Hang on, let me do this, and I can do that, and I can come down here. I can click on that, and you might want to check out Audio Control. Ooh, Audio Control makes this product called an Epicenter. Now, an Epicenter. And Fernando brought up this interesting point the other day, which I'm going to answer this question, and then we'll kind of go down the rabbit hole for a second. An epicenter is what we call harmonic restoration. And that's a really easy, fancy-sounding word for octave shift. Now, if you want deep, gut-wrenching bass, an epicenter is designed to do that. Because what it does is it takes sound at this octave and puts it a whole octave down. So if you have 80 hertz that is just annoying, it will put it to 40 hertz, and 40 hertz will be where all that energy is. So it will make your bass sound big, deep, fat, floppy, boom. And it'll take bass that's already boomy and make it even more boomy, because then you'll just have the boomiest, deepest bass ever. So you might want to look at an epicenter. The other thing, too, is that if you have music that has no bass, so if you're like me, an 80s rock guy, and some of that doesn't have squat for bass, it's just a lot of drum, just a lot of thump, 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 thump. An epicenter will make it sound and make it sound really cool. So big fan. You can find that at audiocontrol.com. That is the Epicenter Micro. Now, there is the Epicenter Micro, which is nice because it has a effects knob and a subwoofer volume knob up front. If you've already got a car with a subwoofer level control in it and you want to put another knob, you just get the regular Epicenter. They'll both do the same thing.
There you go.
Hey, fellas, if I replace the middler with the Kenwood KFC CX3C and the JK, would I need to make any adjustments on the EQ settings and my stock radio? Nope. We actually have a video on this, I think. Okay, so here's the only criteria for this. If you have an Alpine system in it or an amplified system, this will not work. And the reason why is in the amplified system, that is a 2-ohm speaker. And if you pull it out and put the CX, you put the Kenwood 3-inch in there, the C3, 3C, whatever it's called, it will not be loud. You'll actually lose, and it will sound worse. If you have the base model stereo, then yes, pull those suckers out, put the new ones in. Do not use the capacitor that comes with the speakers. You'll get a pop because of the amplifier and how it's designed. That's the factory amplifier, and you don't want to do that because it's bad for the factory amp. So there you go.
Here we go.
How difficult is it to upgrade the premium factory audio system to make it louder and better without losing most of the speakers? 15 speaker system. Okay, so this is a great question. However, you didn't give us enough information. The reason why is we need to know what kind of car it is. They make interfaces that will allow us to integrate into some of these cars and give us preamp output that we can easily upgrade to. However, if it's one of those that is not easily upgraded to, then you can do what's called speaker for speaker, which means we're going to, if it has 15 speakers, and let's say it has, 10 channel, 12 channel amplifier, and you want to upgrade some of them, you just come out of those channels into power and then go to new speakers. Keep in mind, though, that some of these big 15 speaker stereos, it's kind of difficult in the sense that you have to upgrade quite a few of them. So, for example, let's say in the front of the car, it's got a mid-range and it's got a tweeter, and that's your left and right. If it's also got a center channel, that's something you're going to have to also think about upgrading, because if you add, let's say, a bunch of power to the front 4 speakers there, then you're going to overpower the center channel. And if it's got any form of upmixing going in it or any form of center channel sound that's only coming out of the center channel, you're going to lose it. It's going to get a lot quieter. So if you add like double or triple the power to the mid-range and tweeter without doing that to the center channel, you're going to lose all your vocal. So you would have to then add an amplifier to the center channel. Whereas if you had a car that allowed us to integrate into it and get RC output, then you wouldn't have that problem, because the left and right output of the device that we'd be installing is full range. So in that case, full signal will be going to left and right. So every car is upgradable for the most part. It's just there's a lot of little things that can make it difficult. And without having all the information, it could be hard.
I'm going through the questions, guys.
Why? What's wrong?
No, just. All right.
What's up, Mal?
What's up, man?
Thanks for the $5. Have you guys done a system in a 2020 Kia Telluride? Wife just got one, and the bass stereo is poop. If so, would it be, what would you do, a full Hertz install? Yeah, you could easily do a full Hertz install in that car. As far as whether we've had one in here or not, I think we may have had one for a subwoofer, and that's really about it. It's a new enough car, and that's one of those weird cars that most people that buy those aren't going to be upgrading them right away. SUVs like that just don't get, like, we just don't see them right away. It's usually second owner or something like that. But, you know, as far as that goes, it just depends on if it got premium audio or base audio. A lot of what I just said in the previous answer applies to the Telluride. So, yes, you can make it sound better.
All right.
Replace tweeters with the Rockford, PPN, NTs, and the Tacoma. Constant hum when setting gain above 1. Replaced upgrade all grounds. Replaced RCAs. Sony head unit, Rockford, Punch, PPX, crossover. Replace tweeters with those. Okay, so then we got an amplifier. Now we got a radio. Replaced our... none of this makes any sense. Like, none of this should be...
I mean, I don't even know what year is the Tacoma you have.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. So we got a Tacoma. We got a new radio. We got an amplifier. The constant hum, though, doesn't make any sense at all.
Yeah. Like,
that shouldn't be there. Set gain above 1. So we don't know. Oh, so that's on the T404. So that way you should be able to go pretty crazy on the gain with. Replaced all grounds. So I know people say like replaced all grounds, but and they're gonna. I don't know. You're asking. I'm guessing. A hum really doesn't sound like a ground problem. Like a hum sounds like. Are we talking like an open mic hum? Like, yeah, it could be a bad RCA. It could be something wrong with the amplifier. Have you tried a different amplifier? I mean, I know we all don't have amplifiers laying around. Have you tried taking the amplifier out of the car and powering it up on the bench, maybe just connecting to the battery in the car and using a smart device with some form of connection to RCAs out? There's a lot of different things we can do to try to figure out what's going on, but this problem is not anything we've ever ran into before, for sure. You good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. 23 Tremor with Unleash system. Really disappointed with. Understandable. Anybody with good options to improve these? Looking to order a 24 Super Duty and doubt that the system has been upgraded. I can tell you the system hasn't been upgraded. We've done 2 Tremor systems now. If you want to go crazy, and you want, like, if you're a guy that can do it on your own, and you'd like to order something that is pre-made and done and tuned and cock block and ready to rock, give the guys up in Tennessee, Sage and the Boys, that Sounds Good Stereo, a call, or look them up online. That Sounds Good Stereo. They have a system that is pre-made and will go right in. It comes preloaded and ready to go, pre-tuned. It goes into an F-150 before it even comes to you, so everything is ready to move. When we were in Indy, we got to hear a system they just did in their reps car. They did a Moscone system in that with some Gladen speakers. It sounded great. We did film it. At some point, we'll get to put it out there. But yeah, that's what they do. They specialize in making prepackaged systems for F-150s, Super Duties, all the Fords.
Ready to roll.
Ready to roll. So if it's something you want to look at, give them a shot. I mean, whatever works for you. But yeah, no, it's make sure you get the BO system, and then yes, it's a nice. You can put a nice set of 3-ways up front, some power components in the rear, some good subwoofers underneath the seat. Get rid of all the nonsense that they got going on. The 200 speakers that just sound like crap. Speakers in the headrests. Like the first guy we did, he didn't even realize there were speakers in the headrest. He was like, "Man, this thing just sounds like crap." And we're like, "Okay," and which was weird because honestly, I didn't think it did sound too bad. But for I guess what you pay for the car, sometimes more is less. What's your thoughts on Illusion speakers? It's hard to find any videos on them. It's hard to find them at all. They don't exist anymore. The brand has been shut down. Illusion was part of the Orca, the company that distributes Focal Moscone that we talk about all the time. They owned Illusion, and there was some difficulties in the supply chain. that just got to the point to where it wasn't worth it anymore. So the brand has been basically shut down, doesn't exist. Are there still products out there? Yes. I still have my 3.5-inch coaxial sitting up here that I asked for because they're some of the best 3.5-inch coaxials ever made. The 8-inch, they made some amazing speakers, but it's very hard to find anything on them because a lot of the times they were expensive, and expensive stuff is hard to find videos on because not everyone wants to film that kind of stuff. But if you can find them, they're nice. But no, don't ever break them. I've installed a Kenwood 9907 head unit. When I disconnect the car battery and reconnect it, the radio comes on long enough for it to play music, then go off. That doesn't make any sense. So, if you can disconnect the radio, obviously you're looking at the wires. The first thing I would do is grab a digital multimeter. Okay, a digital multimeter is going to allow us to turn it to 12 volts DC and put our test leads in there and see if it's a power issue, because that's really the first thing you want to check. If the radio is shutting down, what we have to check first is, do we have power getting to the radio? If we have power getting to the radio and it's still shutting down, could be something wrong with the radio. Could be something wrong with the module that is powering up the radio. There's a lot of little tiny things. But yes, if you put a voltmeter in there and you go, red is a key, yellow is constant 12 volts, and black is ground. So you check your ground, check your constant 12 volts, check your key, red wire, see if those are keeping power. If they're keeping power through it, make sure they're at 12 volts and not like 8 volts or 9 volts. And if that's all good, you might have to take advantage of that 2-year warranty that it has. But keep in mind, if it does something strange in the car, before you send it back, go ahead and pull it out of the car and test it on the bench. Power it up on the bench. You test it up with your car battery. Run 2 wires over to the car battery, hook it up, because you don't want to get it back and they plug it in right away and it powers up and it never shuts off. So that's what I'm saying. You need to do some voltage testing there and make sure that everything is good. Okay, doing a full audio control build. Would you guys go with a high 10 so I can use optical into the DM608, or use the ILX507 to see how the title feature sounds? I'm not sold on the title thing. I've had it before. It really didn't do anything for me. I'm probably going to go high 10.
High 10?
Yeah.
Optical?
I don't care if it's optical or not. I'm still going to do high 10. I would do high 10. 608's cool. Might want to look at the 810. You never know. Might want to do more at some point. I think 8 is kind of
so not you have a high 10 and then a DM810. Now you got 20.
No. She's got a high. Oh my god, dude, that was so bad. That was so bad.
I know.
Oh,
all right.
Hey, guys.
What's up?
What's up, Dave? Put in a Kenwood radio in a 14 Explorer with don't system going to replace the amp. Also, can I use an RR2 or do I use an Amp Pro? All right. Wait a minute. You're putting a Kenwood radio in a 2014 Explorer. You're going to use an RR. Whether it's an RR1 or an RR2, I really don't care. Mm-hmm. Amp Pro is if you're going to keep the factory radio and go off from there. Now, a Radio Pro... Maybe
that's what he's meant.
So a Radio Pro is Amp's version of, a simple plug-and-play smart harness. I say simple. There's nothing simple about it. Steering wheel controls and stuff like that. So it's like their version of an RR. Me personally, I'm going to, if I'm doing a Kenwood, I'm getting an RR. I want the feedback. That's just what I want. Yeah. I want my gauges. I want my tire pressure. I want all that stuff. I have a 2019 Honda Accord HRV. Would like to put a radio with a CD player. Has backup camera and right side camera. Need to keep them. And keep steering wheel controls. So, just like the previous question, you might want to head over to iData That's iData.com, Maestro.com. It'll all take you to the same place, iDataLink.com. And check out your car, because I believe their product will work with your car and allow you to retain your 2 cameras. Now, you're going to want to look there first, because they'd be the only ones. But when you're buying your iData radio, meaning you're going to buy a Kenwood, you're going to Pioneer, Alpine, whatever you're going to buy, different radio manufacturers have different level of functionality with the interface. And why that's important is because some radio manufacturers have full control, Kenwood, and some don't, Sony. And so you may need an extra button to turn on and off that camera, or extra functionality to turn on that camera, or to have it work off the turn signals or whatever it is. So definitely check that out. And you can do that in the car selection when it's going to ask you what type of radio would you like to use. And it'll ask you full control, partial control.
There you go. Dean.
That's me.
When I see you doing radios with steering wheel controls, integration, you use 2 harnesses to get the required wires. Have you looked into Crux interfaces?
I've used them twice and they work. So we stock iData, Metra, and PAC. PAC is not used all that much anymore because they don't work with a lot of the newer cars, and a lot of the newer cars just need smart harnesses anyways that are going to give you accessory, reverse and all that other stuff. So the steering wheel control market is actually getting very, very, very tiny, because most of the newer cars just need a smart harness and the steering wheel controls are built into them. So much so that, iData was working on SW2, because right now they have just SW, and they changed it to the RR Lite because they realized that what is an SW2 going to do? Because they had already figured out the SW2 is going to have all these extra features. And they were like, screw it, let's just call it RR Lite or whatever they're calling it, and be done with it. Yeah. So if I have to put in a steering wheel control, I'm either going to pick the Metra or the iData. And if I can be the iData, I'm going to pick that because it's probably the easiest steering wheel control to put in. But Dan, what's up, man? How you doing?
What's up, buddy?
And Giovanni. Jeez, oh man.
I know.
That was a good night, by the way.
That was a great night. Yeah, that was great. That was
night.
Awesome. You guys started
that was at
talking
Master
over there.
Yeah, I got the Canadians. That was the Canadian. That was the maple bourbon night.
Yes, I tried. That was good.
I didn't.
That was really good.
I watched you guys try it.
That was really nice.
I don't give in to peer pressure. Arc Audio PSA Pro. Okay.
Yep.
Let you select the specific input sensitivity. Okay. But how do you designate the specific output volts, etc.? I don't know. I gotta be honest, I have no idea. This would have been a great question Saturday when we had Brian on the show. Okay, so here's what I suggest doing. Arc Audio has great tech support. More than likely, if you call, you're either going to get Fred or Brian. But give them a call. This is literally what they live for. Most manufacturers do. Not all manufacturers. Some manufacturers suck. But these guys should be able to answer your question. But yeah, give them a call. Right now, you'll probably get Brian on the road driving if he answers the phone, which he probably will because that's what he does. But no, give them a call. That's definitely something you'd want to ask them. I don't know. Okay, moving on.
All right. Don't forget to call him.
Oh, yeah. I knew there was something I was supposed to do when I got back. What's up, Big Jeff? Yep. Perfect. About a month out. That ought to make it just about right. Mark at Cardio Fabrication has a video where he used the 3.5-inch coaxial speakers. And there again, we have one too. We actually probably have about 3 of them.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what he did because it's okay. But the reality is when the scenario I told you in which to use them is the only one that works because we've actually do hundreds of Jeeps. And so we have the answer that you need, which is if it's a Alpine system, it's a 2-ohm speaker. If you put the 4-ohm Kenwoods in there, it's not going to work. If it's the non-amplified system, it's an 8-ohm speaker. If you put the 4-ohm Kenwoods in there, it's going to sound amazing. Just leave the capacitors off, and that's it. We do it all the time. It's our most basic upgrade we can do. So a lot of the times we'll get the Jeep Gladiators in. We'll put 2 8-inch subs underneath the back seat and replace all 4 3.5s. It's one of the cheapest upgrades we do. Put a key 500.1 in it, and everyone's happy.
Yeah, the Illusions 3.5. Oh yeah, those are fantastic.
Those are fantastic. If you got a set of those, yeah.
You're gonna be so happy with those.
Power them. You got to put power on them.
There you go. There you go. Everybody were looking for her, right there.
Right
there she is.
So, Mary Lou,
you got to pay the money that you owe.
Apparently, you have to come back on the show because people have been. This is I don't know who people have asked for more, him, her, or Jeff. Could you imagine if we had her and Jeff on the show? That would be insane. Yeah, that would be a crazy show.
Let them do a show together.
Yeah, they could just. We could just go sit in the corner.
Yeah, I'm just gonna put the questions and they can talk.
I don't even know if I'd moderate. I think I'd just sit over here like this.
Yeah, that would be great.
Be like.
We have to set it up. Jeff and Mary. Yeah.
All right. I'm sorry. We missed somebody's question, so let's go back to that.
Where?
I don't know. There was a question that popped up, and I didn't get to answer it. So it was probably the last star. You try to find it.
Yeah, go ahead.
I just wanted you guys. I just want Base Dad.
Thank you for the 5, man.
Thanks for the 5. So Hi-Fi has a Base Dad hat sitting in the background. I think it's from him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Base Dad?
Base Dad. Fernando or Haley would never call me that. She'd just be like, "What's up, jerk?"
Wow. I don't think so.
Hey guys, do I use the 10x feature on my amp when using the DSP? Ooh, that's a good question. No. The answer is no. For those of you guys out there that don't know what a 10x feature is, a 10x feature allows you to, if you just have an amplifier and you want to power some tweeters, most amplifiers only go up to, let's say, 220, which is not high enough to cross over the bottom of a tweeter. You need to be like 3,200, sometimes 5,000. A 10 times switch will multiply whatever that number is times 10 and give you an appropriate crossover point for a set of tweeters. A DSP doesn't care because it's all digital. So no, you want to make sure that you can just leave the crossover off on the amplifier altogether if you can, or turn it to a point where it won't affect the frequencies that you're going to be using coming out of the DSP. But definitely use the DSP because the DSP is precise, exact, and it's exactly what you want it to be. So if you want 3,000, or if you want 3,100, or if you want 5,120, you can type that into a DSP and it'll do it for you. It's so cool.
It is?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, but that's just me. Yeah, you good?
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Yeah.
Where is it?
I don't know.
It's right here.
The Diamond Audio you showed us in the video in your trip look amazing. Is that brand pricey? Okay.
What trip?
I think they were talking about when
SEMA?
Piper was on Dallas of like last year or some stuff like that, and I finally got around to editing it while I was on vacation because most of the products had just finally started shipping anyways, so it really matter. As far as a brand is pricey or not, I gotta be honest with you, like the reason why we never talk about price at all ever is because I don't know. I don't want that to affect.
The price matters.
Does it matter? Yes, price does matter.
It does.
But I don't want that to be the focus point of the show. So very rarely will I go look up and see what something costs.
Who say that? Like if you have to ask for the price, it's not for you.
But that's like anything else.
I know.
But the problem is
I don't ask for nothing. I can afford it.
The problem is that like if you don't have an idea, like a lot of people don't have an idea. But if I was, Diamond is a mid-tier price point product, so it's not like a Moscone Gladen, and it's not like a entry level. So it's going to be somewhere in the reasonably priced bracket.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever that means anymore, I don't know.
There you go. That's what it is. Thank you.
Oh, you good? You figured it out? Okay.
No, Anthony put it back. Thank you, man.
Oh, okay. Throw it back on. Do you lose any? All right, let's start off. Do you lose any? Jesus Christ!
Do you lose any audio output using Toslink versus RCA? No gain adjustment on the amplifier for Toslink.
So, because I didn't want to read it, because the answer is yes. Okay, the answer is a wholeheartedly yes. It's what it is. Okay, so most products, not all, that have Toslink will have some form of gain for the Toslink, as opposed to, you know, in there again, it's another preamp in there to create noise. But yeah, I mean, it's ones and zeros. There's no amplitude to it, so there has to be something in there that gives you amplitude. Funny story. So I was putting in an amplifier. We'll just call it A for short. And we were doing Toslink because that was part of what the deal required. It was like, we're going to do Toslink. And I got the amplifier in, and it was like, there's no place to adjust the amplitude for the Toslink cable. It's built into the newer versions of the amplifier, but not the older versions of the amplifier. So I called tech support, and I was like, hey, man, am I missing something? And they're like, nope. I was like, so what do I do? And they're like, well, you need to grab these bands here, wide ass Q, and go whoop, and guess what? It'll fix the issue. And I go, huh. And as one guy said, 6 dB, why would you do 6 when you can go up to 12? And I go, well, alrighty then. So, yeah, there's a lot of, there's some advantages to Toslink and some disadvantages to it, for sure. Prime example, like last week when we had the Explorer in, which is today's video, Instagram recap video, we put in some Helix product, and we had an Amp Pro, and we were originally going to do Toslink, and that's great, right? We ended up not doing it for the simple fact that the Amp Pro comes with a beautiful bass knob that we can flush mount into a dash. The Helix amplifier does not. It comes with almost unusable bass knob that get mounted underneath something. That sucked. So we opted out of Toslink just for the ability to use this better subwoofer control. Now you say, oh man, that sucks. Okay, so the reality of it is the Amp Pro was mounted right here. The amplifiers were mounted right here. We used 1.5 feet RCA between the Amp Pro and the amplifier. We're not going to get any noise there. There's going to be no noise to be had. The advantages of it, we got to use the bass knob we wanted, which looked a lot better in the car. 2, we got to keep fader control, which he was kind of on the fence about because you do lose fader control currently. And he was kind of on the fence because he has kids, and he was like, oh, it'd be really nice if I could, you know, when they're sleeping back there, I could. And I'm like, bro, it's the audio. And I was like, so when he picked up the car, I was like, so we changed things, and this is the thing we changed. He goes, oh, I get my fader back. And I was like, yes, you get your fader back. And he's like, oh, I'm happy about that. And then also, yes, it's a different preamp section for sure. Price is so subjective. Dan, I couldn't have said it better. You're right. It is subjective. That's why some people drive Ferraris and other people don't. I don't want to compare it to any
G35.
Yeah, 20-year-old G35s. Exactly. You know, yeah. I mean, yeah, price is subjective, and it's not just your state of life. It's what you value. It's the importance you put on something. Some people will look at something and go, "I have to have that. I don't care what the price."
Yeah, but you don't have the money, so.
Well, yeah, but I mean, but that's just it, though. The reality is listen, patience, and hard work.
It's not going to get you
will
anything.
Get you what you need. Okay, at least in my life, that's how it's been. Patience and hard work has rewarded me gratefully. It has. I mean, I don't hear you complaining.
I mean, I complain every day.
Okay, yeah, well, that's your problem. You got paid today. You didn't complain all day.
There you go.
I remember in the year 2011, my grandfather told me that one day people will waste their time reading my comments.
We just wasted time.
You're right. He wasn't wrong.
He was right.
Yeah, and Christian's over here. Yeah, G35 with a GS9 and a Moscone 430.
Okay, nobody asked that.
Yeah, I know. It's Christian. Maybe maybe, possibly. And it's not a bad thing. It actually worked out really well when we were done. We're like, yeah, this is badass. Mm-hmm. But that was just a scenario. I was just posting the scenario of what, and in some cases it's worked out great. Like we had another case where it was like we had this crazy noise we could not get rid of, and we changed it to Toslink and got quieter. But luckily that particular piece of equipment had an adjustment for it. So everything was great. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I want more output. Should I upgrade my mid-range of my dash or get 6x9 three-way coaxial for the front? Okay, John, what kind of car is it? That's the most important thing. Because that's going to kind of tell us what you should do. Mm-hmm.
So, all right, I'm guessing right now because it's going to be a
some
Ram.
Kind? Yeah, a Ram maybe. I can see a Ram. And there again, this is the same as the Jeep when we were talking about the Jeep earlier. If it's a base model Jeep or a base model Ram, base audio Chrysler car, like there is no amplifier in it whatsoever. It's just a 6x9 and a dash speaker. You could put a coaxial 3.5 in the top of the dash, and that will immediately sound better, like that. You'll be like, oh shit, that sounds good. If it's an amplified system, it's a whole nother headache. Mm-hmm. Okay, so and now as far as a 3-way 6x9 in the door, if it's an amplified system, you put however many way by 6x, you could put a 20-way by 6x9 in the door. It won't matter because it's actively crossed over and it's not going to make it any different. If it's a base model, there again, you might hear a little difference, but it doesn't matter because it's so low in the door. It's like 3-way 6x9s are pointless. I said it.
It's pointless.
Pointless.
Nothing is pointless.
It's totally pointless. Yeah? You good?
Yeah.
A couple minutes left. Oh, yeah, look at that. Way to go, Mel. Would you recommend swapping the radio to 2006 IS-250? The only kid I see puts the stereo very low, thinking of an Android radio or Tesla style, just so I don't have to look down for a double din. Question is, okay, so here's the answer to that question. What are you going to do with it? If the only thing we're trying to do is do an infotainment upgrade, and you can find a Tesla radio that works, or a T-style or a white box radio is what we call them that works, go for it. We don't ever put those in because the failure rates on them suck. If you're trying to do something for sound quality, just get used to looking down because those things aren't going to sound good. They're not made to sound good. They're made as an infotainment upgrade. That's it. That's the reality on that one. So, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
For sure.
Yeah? Hold on, let me get rid of this. Boom.
Perfect.
We'd like to thank our two sponsors for the show this week, both Moscone and Audio Control. If you're interested in both high-end and mid-fi, we have both. We have you covered. You can head over to audiocontrol.com, Moscone-America.com. And, of course, don't forget at the beginning of the show, we were talking about T-Spec from Metra. Head over to 12 Oak Clean Wire Club where you can put up your picture, and if Fernando loves it, you'll get the picture of the day, or at least the 3 days. 3 days?
Don't forget, 3 days.
3 days. Awesome.
You can find IRTA too. DNF tool drawer.
Really?
DNF
I mean, it's kind of silly when you say it and you don't just go, hey, head over to DNF tool drawer where you can find all the cool tools that you need in order to do your installation.
You start throwing the promos like crazy.
No, I wasn't throwing the promos like crazy. Like, anyways, IRTA 2, awesome. Hey, for you guys curious about that, we are going to be having a sale on the IRTA 2.
A sale, like a crazy sale, guys.
We're going to do a Christmas in July sale. So it's going to start December 24th probably, and then go on for a week. So if any of you guys are like thinking, man, I really want to get an IRTA 2, it's coming. Boom. We're gonna do the only sale we've done this year, I think. So
what I recommend you is buy one for each of your family member.
You know why? Because they good.
Yeah.
Not anytime soon. Not anytime soon. Update for the current one will be out before the new one for sure.
All right.
But anyways, sorry. Yeah. Okay. Last question. Hey guys, long time listener, first time caller. I have a Kicker 800.1. It's it does 600 watts RMS at 2 ohms, 800 watts at 1 ohm. Thinking of adding 2 kicker comp RT 8-inch 2 ohm DVCs in the doors of a Mustang 2011 convertible. Yeah. Okay, I've done that. Part 2. They are rated for 300 watt seats. I can serial parallel to. The power isn't really the big deal here. You'll have plenty of power. Power is going to be great. The key is getting those into that door. It's going to be fun, a lot of fun, and it's going to rattle a lot. So that's your problem. It'll handle it for sure, but you're going to have a ton. Like there's not enough sound treatment in the world for that. But I've done it. It sounds okay. I still ended up putting a woofer in the back of the car because I just couldn't get enough bass out of those to satisfy the customer. It wasn't enough.
It wasn't enough.
No, it wasn't enough. And they were kind of hampered by but no, it'll sound fine as far as your power to speaker ratio is perfect. It's not a big deal. It's just, there's going to be a lot of rattle. Look at Oscar twice in one day. I feel blessed. Anyways, for those of you guys that are like, hey, how do I represent 5-star when I'm not on the show? You can head over to dnfswag.com. That's right. dnfswag.com is a place you can go find cool 5-star shirts like that. Do you even zip tie bro? And the most popular, I know, the Jeff Smith.
You know him?
I should make one for Mary Lou. It'd be like a flower or something. Be like, hey, where's Mary Lou? Because everyone is asking us. Anyways, guys, that's the show. Thank you so much for playing along. It's Monday. We got a full big week in front of us. We got this cool job over here along with several others we're going to have to knock out. I don't know. It's a lot. We're here.
It's Monday.
We're here for a couple weeks before we head out to Knowledge Fest in August. So we got like a month. Okay, month in the install bay.
You just scared me. I'm like, what?
Yeah, it's a couple weeks. In a month we'll be back over there, and then a month after that, or 2 months after that, August, September, October. Yeah, almost right. 2 months after that will be in SEMA.
Oh my god!
Because I don't think we have anything scheduled for September, which is kind of cool. Because
that is crazy.
That'll probably drive me crazy. We'll probably figure something out because I think Brian wants us to come to mobile solutions. But anyways,
we going live every Monday at 6:30.
Eastern Standard Time.
And every Saturday.
6 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Unless you were last Friday, in which case we went on at 5 and we got home by 6.
Did you like the 5?
It doesn't matter. You can like it all you want.
We can do that. We can do that. Also, and 5 minutes with 5-star, we're trying to come out almost every day.
Usually 3 times.
We can answer the
It averages about 3 times a week.
Yeah, we're trying. Just keep.
I know. It's just what it is.
In there.
You can find that on Instagram. And that's it for now. Make sure to follow us on all the social medias.
All of them. There's only 3. So.
Yeah, but either way, we're there. So that's it. That's all I got. You guys go forth, be married. Have a great rest of your week. Don't forget. Why would you not get married? You get Mary Lewd. Anyways, you guys have fun. See you later. Bye.